Hello and welcome. The other day I posted a video about what kind of tyre to use on a trainer and not to use your original tyre because you will burn it out pretty quickly. So I posted that video on one of the Facebook groups I'm a member of, and there were a lot of people asking questions about trainers and which ones were the best and whatever. So what I thought I'd do is just put together a video that explains the different types of trainers and their advantages and disadvantages. So the three main types of trainers are, first of all, there's rollers, and you've got the A-frame style trainers, and then you have the direct drive trainers. So I'll go through each of those, show some pictures, and give you a little bit of a rundown on them and advantages and disadvantages of them. So firstly, you have the rollers. I'll throw up a picture. Basically, you set the bike on it and you ride on it. It's quite a realistic feeling, but you do need a lot of balance to ride on rollers. So I guess the advantages are it does require balance, which in a way is good because it does help your bike handling skills. And they're very easy to fold up. They pack away nicely. They don't really wear your tyre out too much because even though you're rolling in the same area, your bike is moving usually side to side a tad. So they aren't too bad for tyre wear. Disadvantages are the ones I've seen, or most of them, if not all of them, don't have any tension adjustment, so you can't exactly set the resistance, which, you know, for some people they like to be able to set the resistance for their riding. And the other disadvantages is the same as the advantage, which is they're hard to balance on, so they might be hard to get used to. If you fall off, you know, they're not the greatest for that. So it pretty much sums up rollers. Second, we have the A-frame trainers. Now in the A-frame trainers, there's three different types of these that I know of. There may be more, but the first one is a wind trainer. So it's when you pedal, it spins a little fan. That's what provides the resistance that it does have. The advantages are they're cheap, and they do get the job done. Disadvantages are they are very noisy. They're very noisy because of the fan. They make a really loud whistling kind of sound. And with all A-frame trainers, they wear out your tyre, so get a trainer tyre or get a different wheel set or something like that. And the other disadvantage of a wind trainer is that they don't usually have resistance settings, or they're not usually very good for resistance type settings. But again, they're cheap and they get the job done for someone who just wants something cheap that does the job. Second A-frame style trainer is a magnetic trainer. So again, when you're pedaling, the flywheel is actually magnetic, and that's what gives you the resistance advantages. Some of them are still pretty cheap. The magnet, they're very quiet from what I've heard. So the magnetic motion is quiet. But again, disadvantage, the resistance settings aren't that great on the magnetics. So yeah. Thirdly, there may be more A-frame trainers that I'm not sure about, but these are the ones that I know of. The third one is Fluid, which is what I own. Fluid is probably the most realistic feeling A-frame trainer you can get. It's powered by, so you got the flywheel. On the other side of that, there's a capsule or whatever full of fluid, and as you pedal, the fluid moves around and gets thicker, and it provides you more resistance. So as you pedal harder, the resistance actually builds. So they're pretty quiet. The one I have is quiet. The only thing you can hear really is the tyre running on the roller. Again, with all A-frame trainers, they will wear out tyres, so make sure you buy a trainer tyre or a different wheel set. Don't use your good tyres on a trainer because it will wear them out. If you watch my last video, you'll see my tyre was pretty much square within 15 minutes of riding on a roller. So that's pretty much it for the A-frame trainers. My favourite trainer that I've ever seen, never used one, but it looks awesome, and I know a friend who's got one and they look really, really good and they're really realistic, is called the Kurt Kinetics Rock and Roll. Basically, it's an A-frame trainer, so it works the same way as A-frame. I think it's fluid, and it actually swings side to side, so it gives you that motion as if you're actually riding on the road. You can get out of the saddle for a sprint and it will swing side to side, so that's awesome. It does bounce up and down a little bit as well, so very realistic, but they're definitely not cheap. If I had the money, I'd get one, but yeah, definitely not cheap, but they look awesome. My friend reckons it's the greatest trainer he's ever used, and I'd agree just by looking at them. So anyway, that's the A-frame trainers. Next you have direct drive trainers. So these are the trainers where you take your wheel off and your trainer will have a cassette, so a set of gears already on it, or you can take yours off and put them on. You can buy whatever gears you want. So put your cassette on the trainer and you take off your rear wheel and you set your bike up on the trainer so that the trainer becomes almost like your rear wheel. So the cassette goes in through your quick release as per normal, and you're actually pedaling your bike, and it's moving this cassette, and the resistance is provided by a fan or some other form of resistance. These are good. I've never ever used one. I don't know too much about them in all honesty, but from what I've heard, they're pretty good. In my opinion, I don't think you'll get the realistic feel because you haven't got a tire on the bike. You're not feeling that. The vibrations through the bike or anything like that. But from what I've heard, they are pretty good. And yeah, so it basically sums it up about trainers. Just quickly again, we've got rollers. They're cheap, they're good, they're quite realistic, but they're hard to balance on. And you got A-frame trainers. They're good. There's 3 different types. They're quite good, but they will wear out tires. And then you have the direct drive. Again, they're good. They're not cheap at all. I don't think so. There's another disadvantage to a direct drive trainer, is that they're not cheap at all. But apparently they are quite realistic and they're quite good. I've never ridden a direct drive. The only ones I've ridden actually is an A-frame, 2 A-frame trainers. I've ridden a wind trainer and I've ridden the fluid trainer. And the fluid trainer is definitely better. It's quieter. It's a lot more realistic feel. The wind trainer, I seem to be able to just spin it out too quickly. So that's where the resistance, the needing of the resistance comes in. And they do have some where you can provide some resistance and things like that. But yeah, and with all these trainers, it's not recommended that you use knobby or mountain bike tires. But specifically more so with rollers, because the grip isn't very good, so you don't want to come off a set of rollers. I've used a mountain bike in a normal A-frame trainer before and it was perfectly fine. So I hope that helped. If you have any questions at all about trainers, hopefully I can answer them. Just let me know in the comments below. Please share this video, please like this video, feel free to share your comments, and please subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.